These are some of the Remain supporters British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson wants Leavers to reach out to. Whilst they took to the balcony to protest, inside Mr Johnson was urging both tribes to unite behind his hopeful vision of Brexit.
I fear that some people are becoming ever more determined to stop Brexit, to reverse the referendum vote of June the 23rd, 2016, and to frustrate the will of the people. I believe that would be a disastrous mistake that would lead to permanent and ineradicable feelings of betrayal. We cannot and will not let it happen. But if we are to carry this project through to national success, as we must, then we must also reach out to those who still have anxieties.
There's a British political tradition of prime ministers installing their greatest cabinet rival here at the Foreign Office to get them out of domestic politics. And whilst Boris Johnson is the Prime Minister's Foreign Secretary, he's normally kept well away from Brexit. That's because he's thought to threaten the Prime Minister's leadership on that issue. Now, this speech had been approved by Theresa May, but many are seeing it as yet another move by Boris Johnson to try to replace her behind these gates at number 10 Downing Street. Away from the Tory infighting, others just simply weren't impressed with what Mr Johnson had to say about Brexit Britain.
I don't think there was much in there that was positive from the point of view of the majority, the clear majority of people, that's both Remain and Leave voters, who do not want the hard Brexit that Boris Johnson is advocating. They do not want us dragged out of the customs union with all the associated problems for business, but perhaps even more critically, the problem of the border between Ireland and Northern Ireland, for which there remains no solution.
For now, Theresa May carries on. She'll be in Munich on Saturday to meet with Angela Merkel and set out her own vision for Britain's future relationship with the EU. Vincent McAviney, Euronews, Westminster.
Several people have been injured after a shooting near the NSA headquarters in Maryland. The suspect was driving a black vehicle with bullet holes visible through the windshield. The National Security Agency, located in Fort Meade, is a US Army base and home to one of the government's main spy agencies. Gunfire rang out after the car approached the facility without authorization and crashed. NSA officials say it's unclear whether the shots were fired by law enforcement officers or the suspect. 3 people were taken to hospital, but it's believed their injuries weren't related to the gunfire. The suspect has been taken into custody. Officials say there was no continuing threat after the incident. The FBI says it will investigate.
Within hours of the gun attack, relieved students who had been evacuated from the school began to tell of their ordeal. Some told of their relief at being able to contact their families, but others were still trying to make sense of what they had witnessed.
After I heard those shots, I just ran and I was off the property in a matter of 2 minutes.
So all the kids came inside the rooms and everything. There were teachers pulling us in and telling us to get in the rooms and be quiet.
It's such a joy and everything. I just hope all the other kids are okay and oh my God.
Later on, students were reunited with their families at a nearby hotel.
Dude pulled the fire drill. We went outside. Boom, 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 boom. We heard a gunshot. I thought it was firecrackers, but after I heard the last shot, I was like, oh, no, I'm out.
I was in the classroom and all I heard was the gunshots. And then when we went outside and the police cleared us for us to go outside, I see dead bodies on the floor.
You feel like it's a normal day at school, you don't expect this. And someone could come in and bring a gun and shoot up the school. Until you realize it, you're just you start texting your family I love you. Because you never know if you get shot or killed right there and then.
Protesters march outside the White House in support of the DACA program, which President Trump wants to scrap. The Republican Party is demanding immigrants who move to the United States as children must be deported. But this has been blocked for a second time by a US district judge. Nicholas Garofis ruled the DACA program, which protects such immigrants, will continue as before. The decision is another setback for the Republicans after a similar ruling last month. The US Justice Department insists DACA was unlawfully imposed by Trump's predecessor, Barack Obama. Last week, Defence Secretary James Mattis assured any military service members who came to the US illegally as children would not face deportation.
Fierce winds are playing havoc at the Winter Olympics, where they've repeatedly forced the postponement of events in the mountains, notably alpine skiing. Sustained winds of 37 kilometres per hour with stronger gusts have howled through the Olympic Park near the coast. But the International Olympic Committee has played down the disruption.
Plenty. I mean, if the wind continues to blow for the next 15 days, then I guess it might be a problem. But at present, everything is okay. As we've said before, the International Ski Federation is well used to disruption by wind, by too much snow, by too little snow, by too much rain, by all sorts of things.
High winds make it dangerous for skiers who are already travelling at as much as 72 kilometres per hour. And in events such as the slalom, wind that changes direction can be unfair, as some skiers will get a helpful tailwind, while others will be hurt by a headwind.
South Africa's embattled president, Jacob Zuma, has resigned his office with immediate effect, caving into pressure from his ruling ANC party to step down. The leader, who has been in power since 2009 and faces numerous corruption allegations, leaves office with South Africa in dire economic straits.
No life should be lost in my name. And also, the ANC should never be divided in my name. I have therefore come to the decision to resign as President of the Republic with immediate effect.
The 75-year-old had for months been under increasing pressure to give way to Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa, who now becomes the ANC's new leader.
A man has been found innocent of harbouring 2 members of so-called Islamic State after they carried out the Paris attacks in 2015. At the time, French media had expressed disbelief that Jawad Ben Daoud did not ask the men who they were. The father of one of the victims calls it a parody of justice. When your child died because of terrorists, and those guys are the accomplices of terrorists and they're not condemned, it's scandalous. Before he was put on trial, Ben Daoud had already been detained in solitary confinement for 2 years and 4 months. The prosecution had demanded he be given a 4-year sentence. We're extremely moved to have heard, after some long explanations, the tribunals tell us that Jawad Ben Daoud was innocent. It's important for us, for his parents, for his family. Another man, Youssef Ait Boulachen, was sentenced to 4 years in prison for not revealing a terrorist act. A third man got a 5-year sentence for acting as an intermediary with Ben Daoud in housing the attackers. The gunmen and suicide bombers slaughtered 130 people and injured hundreds more as they attacked a concert hall, a stadium and nearby restaurants and bars.
Televidentes que nos sigan a final de Notisia, por lo que trata de parte internacional. Después de corte publicitario, nos lo regresa con el deporte junto con el colega Carl Reuter.